Alright, Mr. Miyagi style guys, I'm going to do a quick review. I had a bunch of accessories I want to go through, so I'm going to do a bunch of them at the same time. I'm going to keep this probably around 15 minutes. You're not going to look at my face. I think you've seen my face enough today. I'm going to start off with selfie sticks. You can see that I have lots. Ones with the little tripod on them and ones without. So I've got an Insta360 one. I've got the actual Insta360, the multi-mount that I just got. I'm gonna do that last, best for the last. I have a generic one. It's like a Telesin one that's like the multi-mount. I've got two that I use for diving exclusively. One is a static one that doesn't retract. This one my wife uses as a Telesin. And this is mine here. It's a portable one that actually retracts long enough that I can get close to fish that I'm not supposed to be touching or get close to. So sorry, I'm still washing this. It's kind of it's been in the salt water in Cuba. So I'm gonna drop these two. So these are just regular diving selfie sticks that I use. I'll just put those aside as I go. The next one is this one here. This is an old one that I have. I use this just for goofing around. It has it's just a little tiny one. I bought it for cheap. It has a little remote control on it for Bluetooth, so you can it's actually for phones. But I've been using it, but I'm not using it anymore because I got some new ones here. It's kind of taken over for this one. So this is kind of just a backup. Cheapy. The one that I use quite often is this guy right here. This is the Insta360 one. It's the one that has the stand, and it's actually retracts down, goes pretty long. This one's really, it's kind of big. It's a little heavier, but it does have the built-in stand, which is kind of nice. So that's a nice one here. And this is the one I use quite often. The reason why I use this is because it's metal. It's thin. And it's small, and it actually retracts quite long enough for me to do my 360 stuff, that kind of stuff. And I've got the quick mount on a tip here for the Ace Pro. This one I always use. I love this one. It's my favorite. And believe it or not, I bought this off. It's kind of a knockoff. It's designed for bullet time, so it's kind of a knockoff to the Insta360 one. It has a grip on it. Retracts quite long, and it's all black, so it actually, for the 360 RS1 camera, it actually perfect for because the Insta360 RS1 camera, when you do any selfie stuff, it automatically deletes the selfie stick, so so it actually just takes it right out of the video, which is kind of neat. And you need a kind of a one color one for that to work perfectly fine. I like this one because it's the smallest profile, and plus I travel a lot with this one. The reason why is because I can actually use this as a Kubaton. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's a personal protection device. So this thing is pretty hard. Like if I hit you with this, it's gonna hurt. You know, you're in a foreign country, you never know. I'm paranoid, so I took martial arts for years, so I always have some sort of a defensive thing with me, and I can't carry weapons with me in a lot of countries. So this is a good substitute, and I have a little thing at the end. There's a metal piece here, so it's a ring, but it actually hurts when I hit you with this too. So anyways, that's that. I love this thing. It's great. It's portable. It's long when you retract it, and it's actually quite durable. That one said, I'm just going to remove the tip here. I'm going to do those next here. So okay, so that's that. We'll put that away. This is actually this is a stand that I actually printed. I made. You print it and you just screw the pieces together. So it's actually a portable stand for this guy. So it has a 1/4 inch screw in the back. So this ring actually comes out. It's a 1/4 inch screw. So you can actually take this out, and I can make this into a tripod by bringing this with me. So now it stands up like a tripod. So yeah, that's what that's for. And it folds up into a little thing like that. And I usually bring that with me when I travel as well. So that's that. Alright, let me screw this back. Look at that. Weapon. Anyways, so I'll leave this for the end. So this is something I've had for ages. It's okay. It's kind of like a multi-mount knockoff, but I think this came out actually before this came out. So this design's been out for a while. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not the most durable thing in the world. Like, these rings are plastic, and I've actually had it broken once already. So what happened is this hinge here, where it screws the little thing, they get cracked and they break because it's plastic, right? So after a long period of use, you know, a few years, they'll just kind of crack and break. They're cheap. You know, you can buy these for like $9, $8, $10 on AliExpress, and it does come with this thing. So this thing just folds in and screws in, and you have a little retractable. It has a little button for a trigger that once you loosen it, you can actually retract this out. So it goes about this long. Very much like the multi-mount, and fold in, tighten it up, and you have a little selfie stick as well. This is what I've been using for a little while, and if you want to make this, you have to kind of unscrew this piece out, screw it in, and then you have yourself a nice little tripod as well. So these are okay. They're cheap. You know, you go through these every 2-3 years for $10. You know, you're not losing much. But yeah, so that's this one right here. So that's for the last. So this is the one I just got. This is the one I've been actually looking at, and I've been kind of humming and hawing about it. They're not cheap. This is the multi-mount from Insta360. It's actually not an Insta3. It's by what's the brand name? It's this guy right here. It's this one right here. So it's by a company called Geeetech. Pgytech. So I guess they contract out to Insta360, and they're the company that manufactures these things. I thought, okay, maybe this is going to be like that Tellison one I showed you, but I have to admit, this thing is pretty solid. Like, I don't know what kind of plastic. Like, a lot of it's metal. Like, it's either aluminum or metal, but it's a really solid piece of like, this would be hard to break compared to the one I just showed you, and it's great. It's got the little ball joint, so you can actually rotate it in different ways, whereas the other one you can't. It don't has the action camera, the what do you call it, the sandwich mounts on them. So it's kind of nice to have this. So I've got I've got a quick lock on this one, and we'll go through that in a second. So I've got the camera on here, and it's neat because it's oh, that wrong one. You just basically unscrew these, and it loosens up, and then you can actually retract this, and it becomes a selfie stick. It just takes a little bit longer. They're nice. It's just they're retractable. I still like the one that I showed you, this guy right here, because I can just, I don't have to unscrew anything. I just yank it out, and you've got a stick right there, right? So it's nice and quick, right? Whereas this one, you gotta unscrew, fold it out, and that kind of thing. But you can do things like low profile shots, like on the ground shots, because I want to try this with my RC. So get ground shots at the bottom. So that's one of the advantages of this thing. You can actually kind of change positions and stuff like that. You can do different positions. The neat thing I like about this is that it does have the tripod, which is kind of neat. So you have a little tripod here that folds out. So you don't have to unscrew, take it out, fold it in. It just folds right out, and you have a little tripod here, and you can position it any way you want it to do. And the other thing I liked about this was that it has a little flip out thing. So you can actually, I don't know if I can do it here. So you can actually hang it like on a monitor. If you can see this, it just hangs on like a wall, and you can position your camera and just sit on a wall, and then you can film that way, right? Which is kind of neat. I like that. That's a great idea. Yeah, there's a lot of configurations with this. The hinges on here are pretty solid compared to this one here. It's actually really flimsy. Like, this is just thin plastic, these arms, but like these arms are like thick. I don't know what kind of material this is made out of, but I can guarantee you these are like super strong material. like this is really reinforced. It's really thick here. These pieces are the ones that break on this one because it's so thin, and look at how thick these are right here, right? So you have a nice, well-built multi-mount here that has a tripod and a hook for walls and that kind of thing, and you know, acts as a nice little selfie stick with the ball joint mount on it, so you can actually, you know, that's nice. I really like this. This is solid. This might be my new one. It's just I just rather have the one that pull out, and if I hit somebody with this, it's gonna hurt more than this guy. But yeah, that's awesome. I love this. This will definitely work. I'm gonna have to give this a try and do some selfie with this. So I'm just gonna remove this thing here. So those are the mounts. Definitely, if you get a chance, I think the price it's on sale right now, this one. Yeah, it's freaking durable, man. It's solid piece of plastic and metal, I think. Better than this guy. This is $10. I think this is 60, 70 bucks Canadian. But yeah, with the fold out arms or the fold out tripod, it's much nicer. The ball joint, it's much nicer. This one doesn't have a ball joint, just has a regular mount on here. So you got a bit more play and positioning and angles. You know, it's about the same size if you look at the two, right? This is just like, if you held this is just, it's comfortable to hold too. So it's just well built. So definitely worth it, guys. If you guys get a chance, grab this multi-mount. It's nice. I really like it. Now on to the other thing too. Let me put these away. So we have a couple things. We have this, and then we have this. So I'm gonna do these ones. I don't want to do them in like one video at a time. I'm gonna have a million videos. So I'm gonna try and do as much as I can. So I'm gonna do 3 things here. So this and this and this. And I'll do this. Oh, no, I'll do the mount first. So, what time we got here? I'll try to keep this as short as I can. We did one today. So this is the suction cup mount. Another made by the same company that makes the multi mount. It's Geytech. I think that's how you pronounce it. So it has a really nice suction, heavy duty suction with a flip down that suctions to the window or car. So this is meant to be on a vehicle windshield. I don't know if I put it on a car metal. I would do it on a windshield. It would hold a little bit better. Very solidly made. Like this piece here is just solid. These are really thick and made really well. They're not flimsy. Again, loosen, and you have 2 ball joints, so you can do different types of angles with the ball joints. The one thing I really like about this is the mechanism. It's not a thumb screw. So what this basically is if you know, it's this little peg that comes out like this. I don't know if you can see it, little peg, and you get 2 of them. Okay, so if you lose one or whatever. So if I position my mount here, and I'm going to use, I'm just going to use this mount actually. Hold on, give me a second here. I'll use this one. This is easier. This one's just easier so I don't have to flip out the arms. So I have the original connect put on here. I'm just gonna put this on here. So this is really neat. It took me a second to figure it out, but I'm like, how do you do this? So it's designed that when you go in, it's like a key. You put it through the hole, and it only goes in one way. If I can get this. This is hard to get in the first time. You just, once you get it in, it's in, right? Let me try this again. How do I get this in here? Oh, there we go. So I got it in the wrong way. So it goes, it's almost like a vertical piece. So when it goes in the hole, it'll go in, and then you turn it so it locks on this side here, and then you clamp it down to tighten it, and it holds pretty good. Like it's not going anywhere. It's actually better than the thumb. You're not screwing it in, so it's a locking mechanism. And I don't think this will pop out. It'd be harder for this to pop out than a thumb screw would be. And it just holds pretty good. You can just loosen this to adjust, that kind of thing. So it's actually a really nice car mount. I gotta try this on my car. I might mount this. I have a sunroof, so I might mount it on my sunroof and just do a little zip around the neighborhood and see how well this works. Hopefully this isn't. I'm a little paranoid about suction cups because I've had them that popped right out. But this looks like it's pretty heavy duty. So anyways, so to remove that, there's a little like a little tab. You flick it. Now even if you flick it, it won't come out. Like it just loosens. You have to turn it like a key, and then it pulls out. Okay, and you get 2 of these. You pop that up. Okay, these back. Okay, so that's the suction cup. That is this guy. Suction cup mount. Okay, so that's that. I'm gonna go through this one quickly. The float guard. This thing is huge. I didn't think it was that big. I thought it was just a tiny little thing. But look at my camera compared to this. It's like a rubber dinghy for your camera. Like this is supposed to float your camera up. I don't know if I would ever use something like that. It's just like a big foam tube. Anyways, hey, who knows? You can use it for volleyball. That's too funny. Okay, so that's that. The other thing is I'll go through this. Is this guy? That's actually cool. It's not the cold shoe, hot shoe one. It's actually the vertical horizontal mount. So this is an L bracket that has the locking mechanism at the bottom, and it has a punch through as well. So you can actually use the mount on the side or on the bottom. So I put this on the battery side because I need to open up my USB door, and you just press just 2 little tabs. Press that, it goes in, clips in, and it's pretty tight. It doesn't move. There's no play. And I'll put this away. And you can just use any mount for the bottom. So this is at the bottom here, or you can have one on the side if you want. So if I have a selfie stick, okay, let's pop this one out. So I can mount bottom selfie stick, or I can pop this out and I can mount the side, so I can have a vertical, so horizontal, vertical. So really nice bracket, and it gives you a little bit of protection from hitting the, some people have had problems with the battery door popping open. Mine doesn't come off that easy. My battery door is actually really tight in there. I have to really push at it to open the unlock the door. So maybe some people have some quality issues with the battery door, or the, the battery door, maybe just getting it replaced. So that's the vertical and horizontal mount L bracket. Okay. The other thing too, I'm almost done here, is the quick lock. Okay. So everything else has been good so far. On the quick lock, it's okay. It's nice that it has that locking mechanism. The only thing I don't like about it, so it does come with a package with a bunch of pads on here. Okay. So there's 2 types of pads. I didn't know this until I read the instructions. Silly me reading instructions. So there's one pad is called a mute pad. Okay, the mute pad has these little, I don't know if you can see, they have 4 bumps on this side, and it's raised bumps. So what that does is initially it has the regular flat pad on there. So when I put it on my Ace Pro, let me just get this on the. Sorry about that, guys. So when I put on my Ace Pro, it was there was a little play with it, and I'm just wondering why they went that route. There's no reason for that. They should have just used a mute pad. So I had to take that pad off, and you get 2 mute pads, and then you had to put the mute pad on there. It's a sticker, and then when you put the mute pad in there, then it doesn't play. It's actually quite tight in there. But you do have to press in a little bit to get it clicked in there. You have to make sure that you do that. Okay. The nice thing about this is it does have that secondary lock. So once you lock that, even pressing that side tabs, it will not disengage the mount. Okay. And you can do it on the side as well. So you can have a vertical thing. That's nice. It's okay. Would I pay $50 for this? Probably not. I think it's a bit much. 15, 20 bucks, yes. 50 bucks, that's a little harsh. That's Canadian. The nice thing about this is it does come with the 1/4-inch plate, which is this piece right here. So it's actually a plate that has the 4 holes for locking for the hooks, and it's actually a 1/4-inch screw, so you can use it on a camera or SLR or whatever, and then you can use the same lock and just use it. Like I've got my DJI on here, and you can use a DJI on here as well. So that's a nice thing to have. I would love to get a couple of these plates and put them on all the cameras and just use a selfie stick or whatever, just to have that quick locking mechanism throughout all the cameras that I have, or action cameras that I have. So there's the plate, comes with a plate. Again, 50 bucks, not likely I will pay for this. I think it's a little much for what it is. I would say half the price, yes. The other thing too is that I believe it or not, I actually like the VRIG. This is the VRIG that I have. So they both have the folding arms for the action camera mounts. Like this one has it and this one has it. So you'll see the folding arms. But look at the two. That's a significant size difference. Like it's smaller. The VRIG is smaller. It has the pad as well. And the reason why I like the VRIG is that not just because of the size, it's a magnetic lock. So what that means is that it doesn't just use magnet to lock. When you connect, like the magnet's pretty strong, when it connects, you don't have to press it, click it. It automatically locks without having to use any effort or pressure or anything. And so if you're ever wondering, oh, did I get this connected right? I'm not sure. Once you magnetically connect it, it automatically connects. You don't have to press it. And it's actually kind of hard to get off sometimes because it hooks on so well. And this one, much easier to get on and off. And it just, when it touches, it locks, right? The other one, you have to kind of touch it and then you got to press it until you hear the click, like the original one that came with the camera. So that's the difference. And I really like the VRIG. Now, that said, I actually ordered another one. A Magazine makes one as well. It's almost the same as this one. Same size, same footprint, but doesn't have the secondary lock. There's another generic company that makes these, and I ordered it, and hopefully I'll get it next week as well. I've got a bunch of stuff coming next week that I ordered, aftermarket stuff, and I'll go through those with you when I get it. It looks very much like this one, except the two tabs are a little different. Okay, and I think it's the same size as well, and it was cheaper. So I would test those out. Like this was Canadian $15-16 for this. Beats $50. I could buy 3 of these, right? The only problem when I bought this is it was supposed to come with that same plate that was on here, that 1/4-inch plate, but mine didn't come with it for some weird reason. So I approached the seller and he gave me a discount on it, and so he took another $6 off or whatever because I didn't have the plate, which is fine. Not a big deal. I could use it for this plate that I got for the quick connect from, and it works perfectly fine with the plate, 1/4-inch plate, right? You could probably start buying these separately. I would get a bunch of these and just put them on all the devices and just use like, that's great. It's so easy, right? A quick connect is such a great idea, which, you know, who doesn't even have it after 12 cameras? They're still goofy ass flip down tabs. Anyways, so that's that. So I have that one coming. When that one comes, I'll do a comparison with all 4. So I got 1, 2, 3, and then there'll be a 4th one coming in, and we'll do and see which one's best. So far, my favorite is the VRIG. This is okay for the price, and I don't think it's worth it. This comes with it, so I'm hoping that maybe Insta360 will drop the price of this, because I honestly don't think that's worth $50. It has the only advantage that it has that secondary lock, and where that would come in use is if you've got it strapped in a car or somewhere where it's not tethered down. That secondary lock will come in handy, because touching the sides will not disengage, or it won't disengage accidentally because of that secondary lock, because it prevents these teeth from moving. So that's the advantage of having this. And then if you have that situation where you're using it for that, then it's worth the $50. I'd rather pay the $50 and lose my camera somewhere in the road. Quick reader. Okay, so I was looking at this and I go, okay, this would be kind of neat. But then I thought about it after a while. It's really tiny. I thought it was going to be bigger than this, but if you look at the camera and look at the reader, so it basically plugs in to the side. So you have to remove the battery door. This USB here, it's actually rotatable, so you can rotate it, and it just clips in to the USB on here. Okay, why is this? Do you need this? The reason why this is here is because you can actually record into this, because there's a door that opens up right here. You'll see it. I don't know if you can see it. And there's an micro SD slot right there. Okay, so it would sit on the top, and you put the micro SD card on there, and then it just records into this card. Okay, and you can just pop it out easily. It's kind of weird because you have an SD card in there already. Why do you need this for an outer SD card? Unless it actually can use two SD cards, but I don't think it does that. I think it records, once this plugs in, this is the default reader. I haven't really tested that part. I haven't plugged it in yet. But I'll get to that. I just want to do a quick review on this right now. Now, I'm not a big fan of, I think I've said this before, I'm not a big fan of removing doors. I know this one you can just pop off. I popped it off a couple times, but don't forget that this is just, it's just plastic. And if you keep pulling a door on and off, on and off, on and off, you're gonna wear it out and you're gonna have to buy a new door, right? So I'd rather not. Now, somebody had a review on this, and he had a great idea, is to, because he didn't like the idea of popping his door out all the time when he used this thing, so he just used it for a phone reader. So when your Insta360 app is connected via Wi-Fi to your camera, if your video file is quite large, if it's a long duration file, if you're trying to do any editing on the phone itself, it's very laggy, just because it's transferring through Wi-Fi. Okay, and you're dealing with 4K video files, and sometimes they're 6 gig, 8 gig, and you're doing things wirelessly, right? It's because it's pulling, because that's why I always ask you to download it into your phone. Then you have to download it in your phone, and if it's a large file, you may not have enough room on your phone. My Pixel doesn't have that much room. You may not have enough room on your phone or whatever, right? So that may be an issue. There's a couple ways of doing it faster. What I've been doing at the resort was I have a cable, a USB-C to USB-C cable. I plug this into the phone, and it basically acts like this. But then you need a cable, you gotta plug it in, you gotta open the door, blah, 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 right? So initially, what you do with this is that you would, because it also has, what this guy was doing was he was, the USB-C's out here, and there's actually, if you open a door where the micro USB, there's actually a lightning port for Apple. If you still have an Apple that uses a lightning port, because I think the new ones are moved to USB-C now, so you can use it for both. Apparently, there's an issue with this being too close, that if you have a case, it won't work properly with this. You have to take the case off. But I don't have an Apple, so I don't know. I wouldn't be able to test it. But as far as mine's concerned, this is my phone. I can just plug it in, and it will recognize this as a USB reader. And when I go to Insta, so what I would do is plug this in, or when I'm done with filming, let's say if I have 40 video files on here, and I want to start going through those files, I want to do some editing on Insta360, that kind of thing. To do it wirelessly, first of all, it would be slow, it'd be laggy. Second of all, you're going to drain the battery. If you constantly have this on and using your phone and the camera at the same time doing editing. When you connect your phone to this, it's wireless, right? So files that are big, or if you have quite a bit of files, it becomes chunky. And that's why it becomes laggy when you're trying to do it on the phone via wireless. So that's why it keeps asking you to download it to your phone or your tablet, so you have smoother playback. Well, unfortunately, my Pixel doesn't have a lot of memory, so for me to download 8 gig here, 6 gig there, 4 gig there, would just, I only have about 20 gig left on my phone, so it would just chew up that memory. So I would have to download it, work on one file, delete it, download that, and then it's just a pain in the rear. So what he said was just pop out the memory card, put in this module. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat here. Put the memory card in here, put a fresh one in there. Now this is ready to go. You don't have to keep this on while you're working on those files, so you're not chewing up battery. So this will be ready to go for tomorrow or the next day. So down the memory card that's in here that has all the video files in there. And this one has, like I said, it has a lightning port and it has the type C. So I'm a type C Android. So all the video files are in here. I just plug it in. Insta360 app automatically recognizes this as an Insta360 reader, and it'll actually pull all the files locally. It's like a local drive on here because it's connected. So you can start doing your AI warp, you can do your editing, that kind of stuff in Insta360, or your special effects or filters and stuff like that, and just export it out directly on here. That's kind of nice because before I had to do one file at a time because I didn't have the memory. Now I can have this part, I can just work off this piece right here instead of downloading it to my phone. And you can just keep doing it, whatever, and just leave it in there because you already got a fresh memory card. Everybody has extra memory cards. So then you can just pull this out, and tomorrow I'll plug it back in and work on it or whatever. And I can take this, put it on my tablet, and work off there if I wanted to. So I'm not downloading to two places, which is a great idea. So this guy figured it out, and I think that's a great idea. And that's what I'm gonna do from now on because I had a little tough time when I was in Cuba trying to work with the phone and limited memory. So once this plugs in, and then when you're done, just pop that memory card, delete it or whatever. You got all the files archived, whatever. Delete that, and then you just do the same thing. When this fills up, pop this one up, put it in here, take the one that you just finished deleting, put it back in there, so you're constantly rotating the memory. So that's the best way to do this. When I first looked at that, that's kind of weird, like, why do you really need this? And I thought first, it's probably a waste of money. And you know, for some people, you don't really need to do that. You have lots of memory on your phone, or you can just use a USB key or whatever. But it's kind of neat because it basically acts like the camera. But it doesn't have the camera, it's just the memory card reader, right? So you just plug it in and you just use that. So that's what I'm going to be using, and it's small enough that I can just put it in my travel bag and use it when I'm traveling. So that's what I'm going to be using it for. Anyways, guys, I'm going to call that. It's been over half an hour. I didn't think it was going to be this long. Sorry. I hope you got some insights of all these parts. Tomorrow I'm going to try and get to the GPS remote. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to, that I want to really play with. I think that's probably the best piece of accessory that I have. So anyways, guys, take care. Have a good weekend. Peace out and respect. Ciao.